I'm Ariana Zarka.
And I'm Amanda Rizzi.
And you're watching BTV News.
We start tonight's stories with Kyle Lovett-Pitts,
a BCC student who was allegedly detained and barred from Dillingers with racially motivated charges.
Dillingers has developed a reputation for its discriminatory policies, but this time people took to the streets.
More than 200 people marched across downtown November 1st.
Preempting Halloween celebrations with one of the largest local civil movements in years.
On August 25th, Broome Community College student Kyle Lovett-Pitts was denied entry to Dillinger's Celtic Pub, detained and arrested for disorderly conduct. BTV has acquired a video that depicts the incident.
Right here. Oh, he's back! Bring your fucking guns back! I'll be fucking ready!
His mother, Stacy Lovett-Pitts, took herself off the case as an active member of the Binghamton Human Rights Committee and instead took to the streets to defend her 21-year-old son. On November 1st, she was joined by more than 200 Binghamton residents, largely organized by the Confronting Racism Coordinating Committee and the Women's Student Union.
We started the Confronting Racism Coordinating Committee because we had experienced some overt acts of racism off campus. For me, I had been walking, on 2 different occasions, I had been walking down Main Street and was followed and, called racial slurs by a group of people in the car. Or I was walking down the street and people just hollered slurs at me. And then I had found out that the same thing happened to my friend Toivo, but they had threatened to kill him. And I was like, oh no, this is unacceptable. We got to do something about this. So we had gotten together shortly after Black History Month, and we had congregated with other students and, talked about our experiences and found out that a lot of people had experienced similar incidences, both on and off campus, actually. And so we decided to have a Confronting Racism forum where we would discuss these things with members of the campus at large.
Many businesses signed their pledge to end discrimination, although Dillinger's initially declined. Dillinger's then requested a sign 2 weeks after the march, after many businesses had already signed.
We waited in line, as per usual, and got into the first floor area where the bar is. And then as my friends were getting their IDs checked again to go upstairs to the, I guess, more club area, is when the bouncer started giving me flack and saying, no, you can't go upstairs. So I had to press him and ask him, I'm not sure why I can't go upstairs. Could you at least tell me why? And he refused to give me an answer. So had he given me an answer, I would assume that maybe it was because I was drunk, but I know I wasn't. Had I been belligerent, I would have completely understood. But I couldn't figure it out. Texting my friends upstairs, let them know they won't let me come up. Had one of my friends, Justin, come down and talk it out with me, and he's like, I don't understand what's going on. And as Justin and I tried to walk up the stairs together, the bouncer actually put his arm in between the two of us and cut me off and wouldn't let me go upstairs. So I got a little more livid, and I kept pressing him, asking him for a reason, for an answer as to why he wouldn't let me go upstairs, and he just wouldn't give me any kind of response, any vocalization of what his issue was. And it weirded me out because I had never experienced that in Binghamton before, to my own face, especially downtown. But then again, I'd never been to Dillinger's that often, so I didn't know that this was an issue that they had.
On November 8th, just 1 week after the march, we saw yet another protest organized by multicultural organizations on Binghamton's campus.
There was an article published in Pipe Dream that I don't believe it was intentional the way it came off, but I do think it was important to bring a lot of attention to it, because even those little things that aren't intentional can be offensive.
It was ridiculous to even hear that someone at this school would publish an article that's that ridiculous. They should have known better. And I understand on the editor's part why they had to let the article print, but I also disagree with them in having let it run the way it was written. Because it's one thing to try and make that argument, but it's another way to make that argument the way that it was written. It was blatantly disregarding issues and problems that people of color face by trying to write it off as history has passed and it's okay now.
Editor-in-Chief Christina Polanu made a public apology and pledged to take steps to rectify the issue.
As if to compensate, Binghamton University hosted Muslim Journey.
Muslim Journey was run by the History Department to discuss the Middle East and the influences on it.
I'm at the American Civic Association on Front Street, Binghamton. Tonight, the American Civic Association and Binghamton Libraries are hosting an amazing event called Cultural Bridging Muslim Journey. The Bridging Cultures Muslim Journeys program is presented in conjunction with a grant awarded to Binghamton University Libraries and the Binghamton American Civic Association from the National Endowment for the Humanities and American Library Association.
Last year we applied for a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities and the American Library Association for this grant that provided books and video DVDs to the library for the people who got the grant, and one of the requirements for getting the grant was to hold a public event where we presented information on Muslim and Muslim American culture.
Several professors from different departments from Binghamton University gave speeches on different aspects of the Middle East.
So the event was basically to cover certain aspects of Islam's expansion throughout the world.
I was very pleased with the turnout, extremely pleased, and very happy to hear the positive comments that people have given to me about how much they enjoyed the event and how much they learned.
I do like presenting the culture from which I come to the people.
It was very nice. It was nice to see a lot of our former professors.
It was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of things that I haven't seen before, and I got really into the culture over there, and the fact that there was 4 different professors talking about different subjects and topics, it was really interesting to see.
Hidden gems like Muslim Journey actually happen all the time.
And Aria Shabelson went on a hunt to find them all.
I'm here standing in front of the Bundy Museum in downtown Binghamton, but few would call this your typical museum. Have you ever heard of the Met giving away a keg, unlimited popcorn, and a cult movie every Thursday night for only $7? Well, that's exactly what you'll get here at the Bundy Museum.
A cult movie is really any movie that is generally outside of the mainstream, but doesn't necessarily need to be a fringe movie, but it's just any movie that has a cult following. So any movie that's really, really popular amongst a certain subgenre of people, but maybe not everybody knows about. Basically, I do series. So right now we're in a psychedelia month, which means that any movie that has a psychedelic trip in it, I'm gonna put that up on the screen if I can.
We're Muckles Inc. We graduated BU last year from the cinema department, and we started a print shop. And we interface with a lot of people around Binghamton who are doing cool things, and we provide them with tangible goods, you know, posters, t-shirts, things like that, to get images out there. And so we combine art with business and creativity, and I think that's kind of what it's all about.
Next up, something that was a little less hidden. On October 26th, Binghamton invited parents up to come and visit their students.
So they'd feel welcome, each community hosted a wide array of huge events, including a show by comedian Dimitri Martin.
This ship has taken me far away.
visit the dressed-up Premier Public Ivy. How do students themselves feel about it?
Students love to complain about the weather, classes, downtown, among other things. So we tried to find out what they really think.
Today we're going to be talking about students' perceptions of Binghamton, as well as how they predict their peers think about it.
When I first came here, I was kind of sketched out. I thought I might have made a wrong choice, but I really love the community, and I think it has a great academic program.
I really like attending Binghamton. I actually transferred in my sophomore year from a different SUNY, and I immediately saw the differences between the two schools.
It's a growing school, it's a growing community. Every year I've been here, it's become just a little bit nicer in really small ways and large. So
far, I really like it. I think the classes are good level and teachers are very helpful.
You gotta be looking at the right places. For example, I mean, you just can't expect, to have like a New York City style, like Manhattan, like a weekend, have a like great party, and it's like a flashy, very like explosive atmosphere. You're not gonna find that anywhere. And like if that's your expectation that you hold for 4 years, I'm sorry, you're gonna have a pretty sad time. And it's a very easy place to make you feel sad.
I think we have a lot of great resources on campus and a lot of great opportunities, and it's also a really good value. I think
she kind of stole it.
And how do you think that your peers perceive Binghamton?
my peers, I would say similarly to me, I think the university is the reason for that.
I feel that it's pretty split. There are some people who really don't like it here, and there are some who do. And obviously for different reasons.
Well, I can see why some people would see it as like a weird mountain college, but I think that if you really get to know the place, it's an amazing school to go to, and you're very lucky if you go here.
The only thing I think people complain about really is the weather.
What if I told you that a large population of Binghamton did not like the school? How would that make you feel?
That would suck. Because I mean, Binghamton does have a lot to offer, and I think the people who don't like Binghamton University are people who haven't really explored what Binghamton has to offer yet.
I don't see any reason for people not liking this school apart from the only problem with this place is it's a very small town and people need to adjust with the small town thing, especially people who come from big cities like New York City and Buffalo. Apart from that, there's no such problem.
So if I told you that a lot of people just like straight up didn't like the school, what would you say about that?
Get out.
So how much do people actually remember from tours?
To find out, Zoe Liebman asked students how much they really know about the university.
What is the president's name?
Harvey Stenger. Stenger?
I have Stanger in my head. I meant Stanger. Harvey Stanger.
Oh good, they helped each other out.
Harvey Stanger.
What is the president's name?
I have no idea.
Okay, Harvey Stanger. For the second question, how many lecture halls are there? 14.
I think there's 14.
Correct.
14.
14.
20?
Close. 14. Okay. Justin, what year was Binghamton University established?
1946.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Next up, we have Keys to Success, the Dean of Students' attempt to fix what we just saw.
Keys to Success
Gave students an outlet to relieve some stress and help study amidst the wave of midterms.
The event we're having is called Key to Success, and we're handing out, breakfast, and we're giving a list of tips from the Dean of Students' office because it's midterm season, so we want people to be prepared and organized, a lot of stuff like that, and remind them, there's still time to improve their grades because it's still fairly early on in the semester.
So how well did it work?
Well, we went back and tested how smart Binghamton students really are.
Alright, so right now we're in front of the Bartle Library. We're about to go inside of the library and ask students basic "Are you smarter than the fifth grader?" questions. Let's see how they answer. So can you tell me what man is on the front of that $20 bill?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
We're not talking Andrew Jackson.
Who sewed the first American flag?
Sold it?
Sewed it.
Oh, sewed it? I don't know.
Sarah something, Sarah something, I have no idea. Mary?
Okay.
There were so many Marys back then.
Betsy.
Is that a hint? You know her last name?
Betsy Ross. I'm a little rusty on my American history.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross? Who is she?
She sewed the first American flag. Okay, what is 10 raised to the 5th power?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
100,000. What planet is closest to the sun?
Mercury.
Mercury?
And you know what the capital is of the United States?
No!
It's Washington,
DC.
Okay, what color absorbs light more? Black or white? Black, definitely.
Alright, so what's the lowest prime number? 1. Close. One higher.
3.
2. 2.
Look her up on Google tonight.
Betsy Ross?
Yeah.
Okay, I will. Next time this happens, I'll have a straightforward answer.
And now, here's Ryan with the weather.
Well, good evening, guys, and good evening to all you fellow Bearcats out there as well. I'm Ryan Shepard here with your exclusive BTV 6 weather forecast. And the topic on everyone's minds lately, besides upcoming final exams, has been this weather. Typical Binghamton weather for December. And as you can see from the shot behind me, it has been wet and rainy and everything in between. But as you can see from the next photo behind me, over at the downtown center, the story has been similar. Cloudy conditions, pretty much the same. The benefit to that, though, is that at least it has been pretty mild. And as long as we keep those mild temperatures around, which we are for the next day or two, that'll probably boost everyone's spirits. Unfortunately, after that, the temperatures are going to plummet. But with that, sunny conditions are going to return. So it's really been a trade-off. As you can see from the local regional radar behind me, it's pretty clear. It's going to remain that clear for the next several days. That storm system around Toronto is really not going to be much of a player around our area. And the same is true for the national map behind me. The weather across the country is going to be pretty quiet. Same thing, this system around Kansas here, not really going to be a major player in our weather, and that's always good news for us. However, that has opened us up for high pressure coming in from Canada, and that is what's going to bring the colder temperatures in for us in the upcoming days. Temperatures are really going to plummet down, and as you can see from the 5-day forecast behind me, starting on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, they really start to go down even into the 20s. Same holds true for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And even though the sun will be returning, those temperatures are going to be brisk and cold. And that is your weather forecast for this week. Back to you two in the studio.
As the cold semester rages on, students rely more and more on coffee to get them through the day.
But where to go? Many are stuck between Jasmine's and Einstein's, while others stand by one with conviction.
I asked around to find out which place was best. Jasmine's, Einstein's, or that John Arthur place. So what's your name?
Fanta.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
What do you think of Jasmine's versus Einstein's?
I think I told you it's difficult.
Jasmine's or Einstein's? I thought a lot about that question. But then I usually find myself to find the relief that what Binghamton offers is more than Jasmine's and Einstein's, but an opportunity for an academic exploration of all which we are curious.
I've never been to Jasmine, so I have to say Einstein.
All right, that's fair, that's fair.
I've started going to Einstein's just because it's more, I can make whatever I want.
Jasmine. Today, we gather here on behalf of the great Pokemon debate. All of the greatest renowned Pokemon masters have been here. Everyone remembers from the 1990s? Andre Donaldson. The man has taken down the Elite Four more times than you have fingers to count. But as we find here, we brought him here. Who did it? Binghamton University. Here we will pick from all forms of knowledge, including the new and yet very willing to learn, Pat Tierney. A common man who knows his way around Pokemon for traditional uses, but has tended to stay away from their more combative uses. Jasmine's, dear. Jasmine's is better.
I'd say Einstein's is probably better.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so Einstein's has like big, I went to Jasmine's the other day, I couldn't find a big All I wanted was a bagel.
Oh, Einstein's way better. They have bagels.
Personally, I tend to go to Jasmine more often because the lines are shorter. But I think Einstein's makes better pieces.
Jasmine. I also like that.
And Einstein's has bagels, and like get lost in soda.
It's all about the bagels.
The bagels?
Yeah. Do you ever go to John Arthur Cafe? No.
No.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I actually like that better than both the other two, probably.
I have not.
No experience going to John Arthur.
John Arthur's actually pretty good too. Oh yes, I love John Arthur.
I've never been there.
I don't know what that is.
John Arthur Treachers.
John Arthur Cafe.
John Arthur, the aardvark, whose sister's name is DW.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Well, have I been to their house? Yes, but they don't really seem to be the family model that I support. I think that all children should be raised for militant uses so that we can have a society that benefits off work ethic a little bit more than DW, the pesky younger sister.
Well, that's it for this episode of BTV News.
I'm Amanda Rizzi.
And I'm Ariana Zarka. Stay sunny, Binghamton.